is a test. Few survive it. But the humans that do awaken.
Here we are, Summer Game Fest, talking Dune Awakening. It's the new survival MMO based on the hit movie and Frank Herbert line of novels. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the audience at home.
Hi, I'm Matt. I am the Social and Economic Director on Dune Awakening.
What I love about this is it threads the needle between both the novels and the legendary entertainment films. Like, how is it kind of creatively exploring that fertile space in this alternate timeline story?
It's been really cool. It's been a really cool thing to work with. Obviously, we work closely with Legendary and the Herbert Estate both. They've both been real supportive partners. It's really good to have our own space to play in. The timeline gives us something that we think makes sense, but that takes us to a fun new place that isn't like treading on the toes of each other. We have our space. The film has their space, and we're playing in a thing that works for us really well.
I mean, one of the things is Arrakis is one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. You know, with what we saw, you have to take care of fuel, water, you have to watch for heat. How is it kind of like balancing all these different survival elements into the gameplay?
It's an interesting bit of work to do. We're constantly just playtesting a lot, tuning a lot, like trying to find the right place. We don't want to make it too easy, right? Arrakis, how you say, it's the most dangerous planet in the universe. It has to feel hard. It has to feel a struggle. We think what players want is they want that surviving on Arrakis experience. We need to give them a struggle to get over, and then keep that struggle going for a long time. So it's an interesting challenge to keep it balanced and keep it working, but we think we're getting there.
With this being an MMO, how is it balancing the elements of, like, you know, obviously like the movie, if you make too much noise, a worm appears. What happens if everybody makes a lot of noise at once?
So that, for example, the worm is a whole emergent system that's running on the server the whole time. So there are absolutely things you can do to manipulate it. We have thumpers in the game, for example. You can draw the worm away from your harvesting situation if you want. If you all happen to be running across the same bit of desert, probably you're all going to get eaten. And we're kind of trying to build something again that feels authentic to how the planet should work, and then letting the players figure out how to make use of that and how to avoid the challenges.
One of the more ambitious things is that with Dune, you've got melee combat, gun-based combat, vehicle-based combat. How is it having all these different combat styles in the game?
Again, it's a challenge, right? Like it's a lot of what it comes down to is there's so many things in game dev, a lot of playtesting, a lot of iteration, a lot of like how should this work, how should that work, how should that fit together. We've got some really smart people trying to figure out like what the underlying structure is and how the bits should fit, and then we're just going to test and iterate until it lands in the best place it can.
Dune is very political in that there are plenty of houses and rival like factions and that sort of thing. How is it balancing those loyalties, especially when you're working on an MMO where people are picking different sides and interacting with each other?
We're pretty confident the way it's going to shake out is that players are going to kind of find their own balance. The beauty of the political context of Dune is that everything is very feudal. There's all these hierarchies of power and all these competing things within. Like you see, like how the Harkonnen operate, for example. What we anticipate is in different areas or different like play spaces, players will find different balances. And if the Harkonnen are starting to dominate, we're expecting a lot of like backstabbing and backbiting happening there, and that maybe gives the Atreides a way back in. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to make sure that there's some mechanics in place to make sure nothing gets too far out of whack. But we're also just like inherently, if you're on the winning side, you want to be the top dog on the winning side, and that creates another layer of competition that's going to keep things spicy for the players.
Just one last one. I mean, y'all been working on this game for a hard time. How's it, or hard time and long time? Yeah, I mean, how has it been seeing, you know, announcing it, seeing the online reaction, and seeing people like me come in and see it firsthand?
It's been crazy. Like when we started this journey, right? This was pre-films. Like Dune was, venerable sci-fi IP that we'd working with, but wasn't setting the world on fire. And then this all kicked off, and it's been. I mean, for me as a developer, honestly, I'm just keeping my head down and try not to like see how terrifying this thing has got, because it is big and it's rolling forward, and people are so excited about this game. Every time we show it, people are like telling us they want to see more. We've been packed all week, and like we just want to live up to it as well as we can, right? It's always a struggling game dev to land the place you want to land, but we're heading there as best we can, and we're hoping that people will be happy with the result, because we really appreciate the attention everyone is giving and the interest everyone is showing, and the joy we're seeing interacting with people around this. So it's been a real experience.
And again, stay tuned for more Summer Games Fest 2024 coverage, especially more about Dune Awakening as we get closer to launch. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Thanks.